right, so that comes to an end, and then opens up the next chapter of your career, and you get into Christian hip hop, or what's the correct term for it?
I like to call it Catholic hip hop, bro.
Catholic hip hop.
Catholic hip
Okay,
hop. It is
so
Christian. I mean,
so that opens up. You start doing that. Can you tell me what sparked that interest, or
ooh,
why the
we gotta
transition?
start all over again, bro. Because the journey starts when I'm young. How I was brought up. I brought up Catholic, man. I was into the Catholic church. I was a choir boy. I was an acolyte. The altar boy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was youth group. You know what I'm saying? And then like in the hood. So all of a sudden things start becoming, attractive to me. Lowrider cars, lowrider bikes, DJing, females. And they're like, I think I'd rather go to it's Sunday, but I'd rather go to the car show
Yeah.
and see the hotties walking around and the candy paint, you know what I'm saying? And hear Kid Frost, you know what I'm saying? Than to be over here, at church, you know what I'm saying? So, very early on, 12, 13 years old, man, the culture when I was growing up was all about lowrider, bro. You know what I'm saying? So every time the lowrider show came about, doing that, or I always find an excuse not so you start to distance yourself and further and further and further and further away. You know what I'm saying? To where we get to the point to where the story starts with Hataproof. I'm far detached from how I was brought up, right? But never detached enough to not.
Come back.
Yeah. So not to go back, but to be conscious of what I was doing at the time, because I'm gonna tie it back to the shirts and the pride and like, oh man, this is what I appreciate the most, and how I told you earlier that everything was kind of just somehow put in place for me. So long story short, man, it's like when we were hitting up the flea markets and selling the CDs, there was a group of kids, man. They were young kids, middle school kids, maybe early high school kids, and they were digging what we were doing. They bought the CDs, and then they call us, man. And then they're like, hey, where can we record so we can do some music like y'all? I said, man, we got a studio. Come by and record. So they come by, they record, man. When they walk in, you know what I'm saying? The studio smoked out. We drinking, we having fun, you know what I'm saying? And we doing all kinds of crazy, crazy cool stuff
Yeah.
that we did as artists, you know what I'm saying? And these guys were like, whoa, like, man, I want to live this life, you know what I'm saying? We were really living it, you know what I'm saying? And they were just kind of like, oh man, I want to do this. So then, we recorded. I gave them their little CD or whatever. They called me about a week later. Hey, so what's up, man? We want to come back in and yeah, come on with it. The extra income. So I recording. I was taking other studio sessions as well. But these dudes, came in and next time I see them, they got little grills, little do-rags. They're sagging their pants.
Man.
They got little
Transformation.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, I was like, what? Like, man, y'all were just nerds, like, a week ago, bro. Like, what happened? And what happened was that influence, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's the message that our music was bringing, even though, like, we glamorized it. We've already glamorized it and said how, secularly, on the, we like, oh, that's appealing, man. We talk about the slabs, we talk about the females, we talk about the lean and the weed and the drugs and
Yeah.
the fast money and all that. We glamorize that and we live that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't realize, man, that to somebody who is young and who is like a sponge and absorbing it, they all of a sudden maybe their dad's at work. Maybe their dad's in jail. Maybe their dad's dead. They don't have a father figure, bro. So they're looking to us to become men. You know what I'm saying? And this is something Tupac said, man. We have to be accountable for the stuff that we say and that the message that we give. How you gonna show somebody how to be a man if you're talking about we don't love them hoes, and
Yeah.
weed and so you're sending them a path to soul destruction. You know what I'm saying? So since very early on in the I-35 boy days, you know what I'm saying, that was already like in the back of my mind, bro. It was already bugging me. It was bugging me, bugging me, and bugging me. And then like, to fast forward to when everybody started branching off and I started seeing how like everybody's life was kind of like you know, like I want to say in shambles, bro. I mean, we were all going through difficult stuff. I realized, what am I doing wrong? Where did I go wrong? We were, you know, significantly, you know, famous, and we were, you know, doing real good financially. What happened? You know, what happened is that all that negativity that we were putting out caught up with us, bro. At least with me, it did. I'm not gonna speak for my, you know,
Yeah.
for my people, but I'm gonna speak for me. It caught up with me, bro. You know, I realized, like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? You know, and you realize your kids are watching you, you know, and those are your kids. But then, you know, other kids are watching. So you all of a sudden become accountable
Yeah.
for implanting this knowledge and these seeds into these kids, bro. And that's when, like, I started my journey, bro. I'm like,